Good afternoon to everyone and welcome to the virtual session for the inorganic chemistry. Dear students, we have been doing certain aspect of the metallurgy and we have covered the aspect how the different metallurgical aspect can be explored for the purpose of extracting the metals. Okay, you can have number of the examples where good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, where you can explore a number of the processes for the extraction of metals. Okay. So, depending upon the property of the metal, you have to have different methodology which is supposed to be applied. Okay. You cannot have the same methods which should be applied for every type of metal. It vary because of the standard electrode potential which determine its reactivity. Because of the reactivity you have the different reagents which can be explored for the purpose of determining the aspect of the process is supposed to be applied as per the nature of the material is supposed to be extracted. Okay. So when you look into the different processes, some of the metal seems to be noble, some of the metal seems to be in a combined state. Okay, so state, it may be the oxide state, it may be the carbonate state, it may be some other chloride state or some other compounds may be formed of that particular metal. Okay, so depending upon that you will have the choice to select the process for the extraction, looking into its aspect how you can extract that metal. Okay, so you can have processes just like pyrometallurgy, you have the processes just like your hydrometallurgy, you have the processes like just the electrolytic hydrolytic process. Okay, so there are wide range of the metallurgical aspect which one can think of, but selection depends upon its property, that is the property of the metal you want to extract and the ore. Okay, so that is a very important aspect. So I'm just launching one pool question. So dear students, we have covered the metallurgical aspect. So we will just which of the following. I'm just pulling the question. Just wait. This is your pool question. Which of the following involves the thermal process? It is coming thermal heating, but actually it is a thermal process. Which of the following involves the thermal process? Okay, exclude the heating. Either include heating or exclude heating. But it is related to the thermal aspect. You have seen that we have classified the uh, metallurgical processes into three categories. Okay, so we have gone through all these three aspects. One of them is the hydro metallurgical process, another is the electrolytic process, and the last one is the pyrometallurgical process. So you can have a wide range of the processes covered by all these three categories. So whenever you have the possibility where the heating treatment is exploited for the purpose of extracting the metal. That is known as a pyrometallurgical process. Okay, pyro means heat, it is related to heat. So hydro means whenever there is an involvement of water and there is a displacement reaction, so you can have the situation where displacement is taking more electroactive element is involved. So you can have the displacement where metal is displayed from its salt and metal is settled down as a pure metal. Okay, so the second option is the correct option for the given pool question. Okay, I'm talking about heat treatment is done in the second aspect. That is why it is known as a pyro. Pyro means heat. So this is one polling question. So you can have the another polling questions just like this. Suppose wait. So this is the statement. Just justify whether it's wrong or true or false. So the correct option for the given pool question is that this statement is not true. Okay, all minerals are not ores. Okay, but all ores are minerals. Okay, because minerals may have very minute or trace amount of the concerned metal or element. Okay, but that cannot be used as a ore. Ore are those minerals from which we can beneficially extract the metals or elements. Okay, so all minerals are not ores, but all ores are minerals. Okay, so I'm just launching one other pool question. Just wait, I'm just pulling the question. This is your pool question, another pool question. Which of the following process is used in extraction of gold and silver metal? So you have three options: cyanide process, Haber process, and electrolytic reduction. Dear students, I am asking about the name of the process. So don't confuse with the process, the active process. I am just asking the process, name of the process. There may be oxidation, there may be reductions in the process also. But what is the name of that particular process which used to explore for the purpose of extracting the metal? That is noble metal, just like your gold and silver. So the correct option is the cyanide process is the process which used to explore heavily for the purpose of extraction of gold and silver metal. Similarly, you can have a wide range of other processes also which supposed to be there. If you have a rich, you can have wide range of the species which can be explored for the purpose of production. Okay, so this is another pool question. So this is which of the following reducing agent is used in cyanide process. Okay, so your option is zinc dust and copper metal. So you have seen that how the cyanide reagent is used as a leaching reagent where the silver or gold is insoluble. So purpose of that one is to make those molecules, those entity as a soluble as a part of the solution, so that they can readily be reduced by a suitable reducing agent. So zinc dust is the correct option. Zinc dust is used as a reducing agent in this process. So this is a little bit about the previous section which we have covered in the last lecture. Okay, so now we are going to have the another topic where we will discuss the aspect of different processes. This is supposed to be very important as we are now in an era where we require wide range of materials, and these materials are of a high efficiency and diversity. Okay, So, for that purpose, the synthetic chemist should play a crucial role and have the processes which can generate the material of wide applications. So, nanomaterials is one of the important class of materials, okay, and which have been now explored up to certain extent in wide range of applications. Okay, so nanoscience is the science which deals with all these materials. These may be the inorganic materials, these may be the organic materials. We used to have the synthesis of these nanoscale materials, and because of its application this branch is exponentially growing every day, and we have new innovative materials or smart materials which can be exploited at various domains of industrial aspect, industrial applications. You have domestic applications. So wide range of technologies are now putting their effort to develop and innovate the new materials which is nano in nature. Okay, so when you have a material at nanoscale, it has a it changes its property drastically. If you compare the same material in the bulk scale, at the bulk scale, so there is a wide range of difference in the properties. Okay, so this aspect of the material, when we study at nanoscale, used to have the property which vary with respect to the bulk stage property. Okay, so this lecture is related to the nanomaterials. The name respect reflect that nano means you have the dimension which is at the nanoscale. Okay, and the material which used to explore this dimension is known as a nanomaterials. Okay, so the term nanoparticle is used to describe the particle size in the range 1 nanometer to 100 nanometers. Okay, so in this particle size range, the physical, chemical, and biological property of the nano changes in fundamental ways from the property of the both individual atom and molecule and the corresponding bulk materials. So at nanoscale, there is a drastic change in the physical, chemical, and biological properties. Okay, if you compare with the bulk materials, okay, so that is why we have importance of this these materials. Okay, because there is change in the physical, chemical, and biological properties. So nanoparticles can be made of the materials of diverse chemical nature. Okay, so as I have already told you that now there is exponential growth in the field of nanoscience because we are every day emerging with certain new innovative nanomaterials. Okay, this is because these material can be made from the material of diverse chemical nature. Most commonly you will find that we have the nanomaterials coming from metals or its oxides or silicates or non-oxides, ceramics, even the polymer and the organic component, carbon and biomolecules. So you can see it includes a wide range of materials which is supposed to be exploited, or you can say that can be used in the nanoscience. Okay, so it starts from metal. You have the non-metals, you have the metal oxide, you have silicates, you have non-oxide ceramics, you have even the polymeric material, organic material, you have the carbon and biomolecules. Okay, so nanoparticles exist in different morphologies such as spherical, cylinder, or pellets type. Okay, or tubes type. So when we look into the morphology means external outlook of particular material. It can be as a spherical in structure, it may be as a cylindrical in structure, it may be just like a pellet, just like a tablet type, okay, and just like the tube. So these are the most plausible formation regarding its morphology, okay. Generally, the nanoparticles are designed with the surface modification tailored to meet the needs of specific application as we are going to be used for. Okay, so what we are doing today, suppose you have some demand, you want to apply certain material for the water treatment. Just consider water treatment. So what you will do, you will just modify the surface of the nanomaterial by having certain modification so as to enhance its activity or to prompt that particular molecule or to provoke that molecule to have a better activity for particular applications. Okay. So while knowing that this is going to form the nanomaterial, you can have the modification on the surface so as to tailor some component which will enhance its activity so that you can meet the specific application, okay, which you want from that particular material. Okay, so you will find these days a number of such type of modification synthesis where the people are exploring the surface phenomena by having the surface modification for the particular applications. So there is an enormous diversity of not plastic, sorry, nanoparticles arising from their wild chemical nature, shape, morphology, and the medium in which the particles are present, the state of dispersion of particles, and most importantly, the numerous possible surface modification. As I have explained, the nanoparticle can be subjected to make this an important active field for the science now these days. Okay, so you can see that when we look into the diversity in the nanoparticles, it is arising because you have wide chemical nature which these particles use to exhibit for certain reactions. Shape, you can have the morphology, different types of the morphology, and the medium in which the particles are present, the state of dispersion of the particle, and most importantly, there is a numerous possibilities of for the surface modification. So you can have the basic nanoparticles which can be modified in number of ways. Okay, so that will give a appealing effect which can prompt or which can provoke the scientists to explore this field in a different ways for different applications. So you can see from this figure that how the things is diverse. So nanoparticles are engineered, okay, means you have nanoparticles, natural occurring nanoparticles are there, but when we look into the engineering of these particles, so surface modification is one of the way. So their engineered particles is because you have diverse chemical nature of the metals, metal oxides, semiconductors, polymers, and carbons and biomolecules. And these nanoparticles exist in different morphology, just like spherical cubes. You have the cylinders, you have needle-like, you have pellet type, you have hollow spheres, so hollow tubes, cores, shell structures. So you have wide range of the morphology, which seems to be uh, obtained from the nanoscale structures through the surface characterization of these materials. Okay, so similarly there is a variety of the dispersion medium. You have gases, you have liquids, you have solid matrix, gel. So this is another component which will add diversity to the nanoparticles. And as I have explained that the surface modification is an important aspect, you can have the chance to modify these nanomaterials. Okay, So unmodified nanomaterial can be grafted through certain process. You can have grafted charge, ligands, attachment of biomolecules just like your DNA to certain nanoparticles. You can have the attachment or modification through enzymes or certain biomolecular coating can be possible. So there are wide range of the synthetic route which can be applied so as to enhance the property of the nanomaterials. Okay, it vary from surface modification by certain molecule, it may be the metal, it may be certain ligands, it may be certain biomolecules. Okay, so when you have such modification, so definitely it will increase its spectra, means there will be enhancement in the application spectra of nanoparticles, okay, from the parent nanoparticle molecule. From the parent nanoparticles you can have the broad application spectra as you modify the surface of particular nano surface, then there will be application in different fields, because surface modification leads to improve the property, certain property, which property will be improved, so that depends upon the type of the nanoparticle under consideration and the modifier which is used to modify the surface. Okay, now the surface, this is the dispersion state is the another aspect. Okay, so there may be the aggregated, there may be the aggregated surface, there may be the ordered structure. So these are the dispersion aspect which will leads to have the different diversity in the nano scale particles or the structures. So when you look into the type of the nanoparticles, dear friends, sound is audible to everyone. Just raise your hands. Sound is audible to everyone. Okay. So when you have a material, it can be classified into different categories. Okay. Basically, we have two categories, just like here the organic nanomaterials. Okay, which include the carbon particles, fullerenes. You have the another one. These are the inorganic nanoparticles, which include the magnetic nanoparticles, noble metal, just like gold, silver, semiconductor nanoparticles, just like titanium oxide, sorry, zinc oxide. Okay, so these are the some of the organic and inorganic nanoscale particles. Okay, so you can have broadly classification on the basis of the presence of carbon and absence of carbon. You can have the classification as a organic nanoparticles and inorganic nanoparticles. So there is a growing interest in the nanoparticles of inorganic nature, just like noble metals. You have the gold and silver as they provide superior material property and functional versatility. Okay, so although there are a huge number of the nanoscale particle, but the people are now showing much keen interest in the gold and silver particles because of the superior material property at nanoscale and the functionality, versatile functionality of the innovative materials of gold and silver. So that is why people are showing keen interest in synthesizing and exploring the nanoscale particle of gold and silver. So due to their size feature and the advantage over available chemical imaging drug agent and drugs, inorganic particles have been examined as a potential tool for the medical imaging as well as for the treating the diseases. So now because of the enhanced activity, because of the nanoscale nature, there is a silent feature where some of the particles are seems to be a potential candidate for the medical imaging as well as treatment of certain diseases which seems to be cured by some classical method. So we have to have the application where you can have the medical application of such type of nanoscale inorganic materials. Okay, so inorganic material has been found widely for the cellular delivery due to their versatile feature, just like wide availability, rich functionality, good compatibility with the body, and capability of targeted drug delivery systems and control releasing system. So you will have the situation where we can export these material to certain extent, just like we can use them in the medical science for drug delivery and targeting the drug delivery system. Okay, capable of targeted drug release system or control release system. Control release means the drug will be released at the site of the disease. Okay, so it will be released that particular site. Okay, for that purpose you require carrier molecules. So these are the molecules which seems to be important for the functioning and the application in drug delivery system. So nanoparticle, as I have explained, that it is broadly classified into organic nanoparticle and inorganic. So organic nanoparticle, you have carbon nanoparticles or fluorons, and you have inorganic carbon particles, which is supposed to be a magnetic nanoparticles, novel nanoparticles of gold and silver. You have nanoparticles of semiconductor, just like titanium oxide and zinc oxide. So especially the inorganic particle have been created attention towards itself due to its superior property, as we have explained, and due to nano features used for the chemical imaging, which is discussed in the previous slide also. So this is a repetition of the previous slide. So there is a good, when we look into the drug application of the nanomaterials or nanoparticles. Okay, so there is a possibility that these metals, just like gold and silver, is a good carrier of targeted drug delivery and control release. It is a completely advantageous because the material seems to be compatible with the body. Okay, so it is a complete advantageous material for the medical science. For example, you have mesopore silica combined with the molecular medicines show excellent image to the drug release. You can see that whatever the studies reflect that certain materials, just like mesopore silica, used as an excellent drug delivery device. Similarly, you can have the gold nanoparticles. It is a good carrier in thermotherapy of the biological targeted. So you have the different carrier molecules which use to either carry the drug or either involved in the control release. Okay. Similar to this, you have the silver nanoparticles show antimicrobial activity which heals the wound and the infection diseases. So at nanoscale, the efficiency of such material enhance drastically, and it exhibit antimicrobial activity which will heal the wound and even the infectious diseases. Okay, so this is the way you can have a number of the nanoscale particle which seems to be used not only as a carrier or not as an antimicrobial agent, but you can find a wide range of other applications in different sectors. So synthesis of these nanoparticles get concerned. We are more concerned because while seeing into the broader spectrum of the nanoparticles, you have wide range of applications. So we are more concerned and serious about the synthetic aspect of such nanoparticles. Okay, and secondly, due to the size, shape, and chemical composition and controlled dispersity, and their potential use in the medical science for the better treatment of human uh, health for its benefit. Okay, so while looking into its real applications, so we are more concerned how you can have the better application of these nanomaterial for the human welfare. Okay, because human species has so many diseases, so you have to have certain medicine, and medicine should be effective. For the effectiveness, you have to have certain carrier device which can control the release of the disease, release of the drug at the site of the infection. Okay, so such type of the possibility is there, and people are exploring these molecules for such applications where the classical method seems to be not working in that much efficiency. So now you will find such type of the drug delivery devices in coming days for the application, for certain application or certain therapy in the medical science. So basically, you can have the, when we look into the synthesis aspect of this material, so we have two types of the approaches which seems to be applied for the synthesis of nanoscale particles. One is a bottom-up approach, another is, dear students, what I am saying, when we look into the property of the nanoparticles, okay, whatever you have property at the bulk stage, okay, that drastically changes. It improves its property when we have nanoscale because of the surface increase in the surface. So you will find that at a nanoscale, the bulk property uh, is not that much prominent for certain applications. Okay, but when you get down to the nanoscale of the same material, you will see that there is a enhancement in those properties, just like conductance and certain activities. Okay, so there are various types of the activities which can be explored. So when you have a nanoparticles, okay, so nanoparticle may be synthesized from organic or inorganic, both types of the component can be used. Even the polymers are also exploited. Okay, so if you look into the inorganic polymer, as I have told you, that certain silicates are also used as a nanoscale particles. So you can synthesize a nanoscale materials from the silicates also. Okay, so that is also what you have learned in the last unit, that you have inorganic polymers. Okay, so inorganic polymer can have the material which can be exploited at the nanoscale. Okay, so it is how you can modify the method, how you can standardize the method, but once it is formed, so it will definitely have a better application spectra. Okay, so it will have definitely a better application spectra for the certain applications. Okay, so what I am saying, that we have two types of the approaches you will find when you have nanoscale materials. One is bottom up approach, another is bottom down approach. So it depends from bulk to nanoscale or nanoscale to, these are the two approaches. Bottom up, okay, you have atom, convert into this one, and you obtain the nanoscale particles. Okay, so bottom approach is nano a type of the synthetic route, okay, of the self assembly of material from cluster to cluster, molecule to molecule, or atom to atom. Okay, on the top of the base substrate. The main concern in the Bottom up approach is the addition of the surface layer to the base substrate. The most common bottom up methods are welding. Okay, so you can have such type of the methods. Either you can have the bottom up approach, or either you can have bottom top down approach. Okay, top down approach means it refers to a set of the fabrication technology starting from the block bulk material, which shares the same material with the base substrate. The most common used top down methods are milling, drilling, and grinding. Okay, so this is your bulk material. Through milling and grinding, you are getting the fine particles at nanoscale. Okay, so this is top down, that is the bottom up scale, and this is top down, means you are moving top to down, that is towards bottom to up. Okay, bottom up approach. So these are the certain approaches. We will, in coming lecture, we will study the different aspect which is involved in the synthesis of these nanoscale particles. Okay, so just launching few questions. Nanoparticle. So this is your full question. So we have a variety of the agent or the reagent which find application in diagnostical field, especially the medical field, where you have to treat the disease. For that, you have to first diagnose certain disease through certain reagent or through certain agent. Okay, so now these days the nanoparticles is seems to be a very important and has been finding its application in the imaging and diagnostic field of medical science. Okay, so there are certain materials which supposed to be playing a very important role. So this is all about the little bit introductory part of the nanoscale particles, and rest of the things we will going to have a discussion on the other component of the course in the coming lectures. Okay, so thank you to all of you. Now you can just leave the session.